When can I require someone's signature? Hi there, this is Jared Moyer with Bankers Compliance Consulting. That's often one of the questions that comes up when we're discussing the requirements related to signatures within Reg B, Equal Credit Opportunity Act. So here's how I want to explain this. First off, I want to split it up into two different things. I want to talk about liability documents, and then I want to come back around and talk about security documents. So if we're talking about liability documents, we're talking about something like a note, or maybe it's a guarantee. So let's start with the note. The note and the signatures. So the only time you can have somebody sign individually on a note is if they offer themselves as a voluntary applicant. And how would we be able to demonstrate that that occurred in your transaction? Well, your loan file should have documentation that meets up with Reg B's standards in the joint intent area. So intent to apply for joint credit, somehow, some way you've documented the file that they are in fact voluntarily applying. That's how we end up with their signature on the note. The other type of liability document is going to be that of a guarantee. And the intent to apply requirements still apply, however, there's an exception. The exception is if someone's an officer, director, shareholder, you can make them sign the guarantee. So between this note and the guarantee, you can never ever make somebody sign a note unless they're a voluntary applicant. When it comes to a guarantee, if they're an officer, director, shareholder related to the entity that's opened up the account, then you can make them sign the guarantee. And again, that's going to come into play when the entity that is opening up the account is not creditworthy on their own. So that's the liability side of it. Now let's move over to the security agreement side. So we could have a blanket security agreement, we could have a mortgage, a deed of trust, a car title. In other words, you want to get my stuff. Well, on the security agreement side of it, you can make people sign for their stuff. In other words, you can say, Jared, if you want this money, the collateral you're pledging is owned by another person in addition to yourself. So we're going to need that signature in addition to yours before this money walks out the door. So if it's my wife and I, you could say, Jared, your wife needs to sign the mortgage, the deed of trust, the security agreement, whatever, before the money walks out the door. So you can ask or make someone sign for their stuff. You can't make someone be liable outside of an officer, director, shareholder. Now, this is just one of the many things that comes up from a compliance standpoint in the commercial lending space. If you're looking for help with your commercial lenders, whether it's Reg B, flood insurance, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, any of those commercial lending compliance requirements, we have just the ticket for you. On June 14th, we're going to be doing 2 hours just for commercial lenders, just commercial lending compliance. So we'd love to be part of that solution to help you out with those compliance requirements for your commercial lenders. We'll be putting it into plain English so that you can get back to doing what it is that you do best. That's serving your customers. I hope to see you then. Thanks.